Hey, welcome back. Today we're going to do a little craft together. I saw these and thought they were fabulous, and so I actually practiced, and I think they turned out pretty darn cute. So I'm going to show you how I did it and what you will need to make these wonderful whipped cream toppers. And I will show you a close-up picture, and all it is a little topper. So if you have a cute mug that you want to have out during the holidays.
I just think they turned out so cute.
Now what I did, because I had never done this before, I thought, you know what, rather than make a complete disaster of it right out of the gate, I'll go small. So I started off with just this little tiny cappuccino. It's not a cappuccino, it's an espresso cup for my Nespresso machine. And I thought I'll make a little tiny one first. And it turned out pretty cute, I think. And then I made a couple more. And you really don't know how they're going to turn out until they firm up. And it takes at least a day or at least overnight. I did these in the late afternoon, and then the next morning around 9 or 10 o'clock is whenever. So, and part of the fun is finding little straws and things that kind of complement whatever colors you've chosen. So we're going to go ahead and do one of these larger ones today, and I'll take you through each step so that you know what you're going to need. So the first thing that you're probably wondering is, what the heck is that made of? Because I know my son thought that it was really whipped cream, and he thought that I had whipped cream sitting out on the dining room table overnight, and he was ready to take a lick. So I said, oh, no, because what you're looking at is spackling. Well, I guess make sure you get the lightweight. It's called, this is Easy Patch Lightweight, and this was about $7. This is super light, and that's what you want. You want them to be very light and fluffy. If it's too heavy, by the time it sits on the counter for, a few hours, it will start to sink down. So that's the first thing. And as I said, this was about $7, and I used just a little bit of it to get these. So if I were making all big ones, I probably could have made 2 or maybe 3. This is the smallest they had, and I don't know if this is a popular craft right now or if this is something that is just used all the time, because I did not have a choice. This was the only size, and they only had 3 of these in stock. The other sizes were like a half gallon, and I didn't think I needed that much for my project. Okay, so the first thing that you're going to do is take a piece of a heavier stock. So not a flimsy piece of paper like you would use in the printing machine, just a regular, printing machine. You could use a paper plate. I just happen to have recently gone through my filing cabinet, and I had a whole bunch of these manila files that I was going to toss out, and I thought, oh, sometimes they're good for tracing patterns. And so I actually used one of these to trace my pattern. And what did I use as a pattern, you may ask? I used this cup. So whatever, if you have a mug in mind or a cup in mind, that's what you'll use. So I went ahead and traced out 2 of these and cut them out. So now we have 2 discs, and this is going to be the base. Is that you tape it to a surface. So you can take a piece of cardboard and cover it in wax paper so that you have a base. Well, I shouldn't say a base, but you have something to put this on so you can work with it. It will, then you can lift it up. You don't want these just sitting on your counter because someone might run into them. So you want to put them somewhere safe while they cure. So a piece of cardboard covered in wax paper, or what I wound up using was my Silpat, and it's a mat that you may or may not already have, and then I put it inside a pan. So while I'm working on it, I don't want it to scoot around on me. So I'm putting just a small piece of double stick tape. And if you don't have that, then just bend a tape around and stick it to the bottom. So I'm going to put my little piece of tape, and that's just to keep it from moving while I work on it. So it's nice and secure. Okay, the next thing you're going to need is a way to pipe the whipped cream onto your disc. Now, here's something to look for when you are at the store. I had a coupon for Michael's, so I was really looking for the smallest box possible. What I didn't pay attention to was what type of piping bags they were. I had no idea that they made two different kinds. There is a regular, and then there was a double-sided. So I wound up getting the double-sided, and if I had looked more closely while I was buying them, I would have seen the two colors in one bag. Oh, let me point out too that we're going to use a little bit larger tip on this than I did on the other one, but you can get them and they're Wilton, or you can probably get a cheaper version. Walmart has them, Michael's has them. Again, if you have a coupon for one of these stores, that's great. So we're going to put this down into the piping bag and make sure that the piping bag allows the end to peek out, but not so far that I lose the tip. Once I begin to apply pressure to move the piping, the icing, out, we don't want to have the tip fly off. So we're going to cut off the end. We'll cut off the end. Now, if you get the tip down in there and it's not showing, then just reposition it and cut a little bit more of the tip off of the bag so that you make sure all of your icing. And then you can see, okay. One more thing is that when you begin to pipe the icing, it's going to take a lot of spackle unless you can build it up from underneath. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to move this over so that you have a clear shot of what I'm doing. Okay. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a little piece of plastic that was actually a to-go cup. I think it had ketchup or mayonnaise or something in it.
And it's the perfect size.
Now, if you were going to do that large mug, like we were talking about, one of those mugs that's a big giant mug, I would use a big one like this, so you really could get some height. Oh, I'm gonna have to do that, because that's, see how tall it would be? Woo, it would be really great. I could use this here, but I don't think I need quite that much height. And then if you were gonna do a tiny one, which is what I did for these, you could use just the cap. This was the cap off of an avocado oil spray can that I had. And so that would be a good size if you were going to make the little ones. Okay. All right, so we're going to use this one and we're going to build it up. So we'll put a little blob in the middle. Now, if you don't have these, you can still put a blob in the middle and then work around that and build up from there. But this saves you so much spackling, and this is something you would probably throw away anyway, right? It's just, I just happened to have it in the fridge, and I rinsed it out, and I said, hey, this is going to work for my project. Okay, so before we begin, something else that you're going to want to have is a way to decorate afterwards. So for the one we're going to do today, the one that I already did, I used some straws and some little Disney sprinkles. But for today, we're going to do a fall theme. So I have a piece of cinnamon stick, and I have a couple of picks that came from a kit where you make little fall cupcakes. And then I also have just a disposable plastic spoon. So the first thing we're going to do is open up our spackle. And I tried to seal it really well, so it's on there pretty snug. So I have opened this already. When I opened it up, it just looked like a big can of icing. Again, very tempting. And the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to take a vase and I'm going to put my bag, I'm going to put it down in the vase. And if you have just a tall glass, that might work well too. And the reason why I'm doing this is it gives me some stability while I am plopping. Almost too big around, but I think it'll work. Also, if you don't get the spackling all across the sides of it, that's helpful too. So that gives us a way to get the spackling in there. Okay. And now I'm just going to take my, it even sounds like icing. And it stays fairly pliable. As I said, it has to set up overnight, so it's not like this is going to get hard right away while you're trying to work with it. But I do think it's a good idea to put the lid back on it. And I have a cup that I'm just going to put my plastic spoons down in. So I'm going to work my way around this to make sure the lid is on pretty secure. Okay. So now that I have all of the spackling compound in the mixing, I pull it back up, and you can see that I didn't quite get it all the way down, but that's okay because it's pretty easy to work it down to the end, and you can see it. And then just like icing. Okay, and then we'll get it. Okay. Move that aside. So now we're going to go back to adding this. So to keep this from sliding around, we're going to put a little smush of that. I want it to look as much like whipped cream as possible. And we're going to make sure that we cover just the edge, and that gives us a border so that none of the cardboard is showing through. And I'm squeezing pretty hard, and it could be that because I have these double-sided bags, I have to work a little harder at squeezing it. But I'm also trying to make it look kind of fancy. Okay, so we have a whole, whoop, that guy's sliding around a little. My goal right now is to get a base layer and not have any of the paper showing through. And I'm just doing a little swirl. You could just do it flat, and depending on the tip that you have, you might have a star tip that already makes it look like a star. But I'm thinking if I were ordering this at a fancy coffee shop or at Disneyland, what would it look like? Now, before I decorate this one, let me talk about the little sprinkles. These are not edible sprinkles. These are polymer. They come in a package or in a very small container like that. And let me tell you, you only need maybe, 12 to 20 on each topper that you're doing. So for like $1.50, $2, depending on which ones they were, I got a ton of these. The reason why you don't want to use regular sprinkles is because they have artificial coloring. Not that you're going to eat them anyway, but it bleeds into your compound. This is actually pumpkin pie. And it smells good. So this one is going to smell good. I love it. And then I think I will put one of the little, there we go. That makes it a little better. And then I have a cinnamon stick that I have cut. So I'm going to put that. I think we'll use just a few of these chocolate sprinkles. Now again, these are not real. They are, gotta kind of toss them over there. They're just fake polymer. What an industry, huh? What do you do for a living? I make fake sprinkles. So I have these little gold straws, and they kind of go with the theme. And it smells really good too. All right, let's move on and let's try using the same bag. I don't know if this is gonna work. It should, because it's a double-sided bag. I guess it'll work. Well, we'll try it. We'll see if it's gonna work. And they're just tiny. Now watch this. And this is a rich red. It's not going to turn out looking like pink. Sometimes when you use just food coloring, you lose the intensity of the color, and this is quite rich, and I think it will be kind of a cute peppermint when we swirl it together with the white. Okay, so for this process, because I'm loading it into a double-sided bag, I'm going to use my rubber spatula. Okay. It's nice to have that jar there just to give me a place to put it down. I swear you want to lick the edge of the you want to lick the spoon, but don't. This one, since we did not get the red and white to come through, we'll make a small one with that one. We've got just about enough to do a perfect little tiny one like those. But for this one, let's go ahead and make it a Christmas style. I had a plastic straw, which I cut, and you always want to put the cut side down so that your top, look nice. However, I didn't cut it very even. So when you go to put them in, that's okay. You just put the uneven side down. So I have some more of those little sprinkles. So cute. And I actually am going to pull out just a few of the white ones. I'm still going to put white ones in.
And they're so realistic.
After several attempts of getting that red, now it's pink because it's been smushed together so much, this is what I wound up with. I had a bendy straw that I thought would be fun to add. So we're going to use some of these chocolate mints. Again, these are fake. These are not real. But you can see how the little white ones show up quite well. If you have even puff paint, in a brown color, you can drizzle that and it looks like it's got a lovely chocolate drizzle. There, the cup or the mug that you put it in really makes a difference. So you want to stylize your whipped cream to accent the mug that it's going to be in. And so when these are finished, I will take a picture and you can see what they look like sitting on top of their mug. Now we're going to put these someplace where they won't be disturbed. So it's the next day and everybody has been sitting overnight to firm up. These are the 3 that I already had made. These are the 3 that we made yesterday. Turned out really cute. And as I was saying, depending on which mug you're putting it on, you really can dress it up just for that mug. And this is the little one that we used our leftover peppermint. And it would really be cute on a red Santa mug. I thought that would be really cute. I wanted to mention in regards to the way the whipped cream looks, if you like a flatter, more realistic whipped cream look, then when you run your bead around the top, just go very smooth and straight. Don't stop like I do to make the little peaks as you go around. It's probably a lot faster and it's just a smooth bead that will make it look like a regular squirt of whipped cream. So it just depends on what you prefer, what you like. If you like it real fluffy looking, or if you like it to look very realistic like whipped cream. The other thing I was going to mention is that this particular brand that I get, which is Westpac Easy Patch, is a pure white. You may find other spackling that is off-white or maybe dingy, and then you have to add some white paint to it. This is the best because it comes out just a real bright white each time. And it's very easy to work with if you're getting the lightweight. So I hope that helps. I hope this was a fun video for you. If you are interested in following along some of my other shenanigans, then stay tuned. I have a couple of things coming up that I just happened upon and I thought, well, this is something that'll be fun to film. So stay tuned and subscribe if you haven't already, and I'll see you next week. Bye.